1.
This is absolutely the place to be all weekend long. Welcome into LakePoint Sports, where it's the Windscreen Factory Spring Flex Weekend, a jam-packed weekend across the entire campus. I'm Cory McCartney. We've got a great matchup for you from the Southeast Super Selects 14U division between Canes Lakeside and the West Georgia Bombers. But the action here at the Baseball Village is just part of the fun. There's also select events live at LakePoint Sports, the Champion Center. That's girls basketball, along with NASA Top Hat, Adidas Select Cup at the Publix Fields, SRVA Championships at the Beach Pavilion, and Terminus Wake Park is in full effect as well. We're hanging about 12:40 first pitch in our baseball game of the day, and I'll be joined along the way by our own Grayson Rosen, along with a visit from the Windscreen Factory owner, Robert Taylor. Now, an absolute name to know in today's matchup is Cane Lakeside's Trip Strickland. The 2029 was part of March's Rising Stars preseason All-State event here, following in the footsteps of his brother Price, who will be suiting up for JUCO Power Georgia Highlands starting next season. Here's Jack McCartney with Trip Strickland in this edition of Dugout Chatter.
I'm here with Trip Strickland, 2029 mid-infielder for Cane Southeast. Trip, man, thanks for the time.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so you were at Rising Stars preseason All-State earlier this year. What did you learn about yourself from that event?
I learned that I got to get faster and stronger to succeed in the next level.
All right, so we're going into the summer. We're going into big season travel ball.
Yeah.
What are you working on right now specifically to help your game?
I'm working on my fundamentals during like fielding and like getting faster so I can steal more bases and score more runs.
So as you're working on this, is there a certain MLB player or a certain professional baseball player that you are trying to model your game after a little bit?
Also Riley, because he always works hard, keeps his head up, and he's a good teammate.
So your older brother Price is going to Georgia Highlands next year.
Yes, sir.
Did you learn anything watching him play as you grew up?
Yes, I learned that, I mean, he's pretty good. Nah, not really. He's pretty good, but work hard. I'm not trying to be a PA like he is. But other than that, yeah.
All right. That was great. That's Trip Strickland. Trip, man, thanks for the time.
Thank you for having me.
Great stuff there from Jack McCartney. Cannot wait to see Trip Strickland, and that's a mouthful right there, Trip Strickland in action in a little bit here for Canes Lakeside again. We're eyeing about 12:35 to 12:40 first pitch in that one. Now, in the on-field action, it's just part of the offerings here at LakePoint Sports, where we endeavor to provide a best-in-class experience. That includes access to testing and player performance data that is redefining evaluation and recruiting. Located here on campus, the Curve Test Center gives athletes an unprecedented look at how they measure up through their ball, body, and brain approach to testing. Let's go inside the Curve Test Center.
We're here at LakePoint Sports, the site of the first Curve Test Center. There will be lots of Curve Test Centers, but this will always be the first. And why are we here? Here for a couple of reasons. One is about the effort players are spending trying to get coaches to notice them. The effort coaches are spending trying to figure out who's actually any good. The poor parents who are sitting there saying, where's my kid headed? This is the answer for all that.
Everyone wants to be seen, right? Sometimes what can be seen is data. So it's hard to get in front of coaches at all these programs at once, or even the school you really want to go to. So using data helps us a ton. And as long as it's reliable and there's something that can give us better information with the small sample size is what we're looking for.
You can test your athletic, cognitive, and baseball skills with TrackMan, Proteus, and more. Visit at the Bubble here on campus or sign up now at curvetestcenter.com. Don't miss this chance to level up your game. Our LakePoint Sports photographers deliver at the highest level, taking you inside the action here across campus. Yes, we've got your game day covered, and now you can not only see your game through our lens, but you can also purchase photos as well. Just use the QR code on screen for the latest images with galleries uploaded after the completion of tournaments and events. You can also go to lakepointsports.com for more information. Again, we are eyeing a 12:35 to 12:40 first pitch in this game of the day between Canes Lakeside and the West Georgia Bombers. We'll take a little bit of break here in studio as we await the opening lineups. Those, of course, presented by the Windscreen Factory, the presenting sponsor as well of this weekend's Spring Flex. So again, going to take a quick break here in studio. We'll take you to the on-field cameras, and we'll be rejoining you shortly here from the Baseball Village. And here are our Windscreen Factory starting lineups for this matchup. Canes Lakeside will be led off by center fielder Bodie Malcolm. Then at second baseman Parker Leonardi. Then Chase Reese, the right fielder. Hitting fourth is catcher Trey Wilson III. Hitting fifth is extra hitter Ty Dunlap. Then it's the pitcher Tyler Lowe. Parker Pear on the first baseman, C.J. Romanowski playing third and hitting sixth. Hitting ninth is Tripp Strickland, shortstop, who we saw in that interview a little while ago with Jack McCartney. You'll be able to find that on our social media channels up to tomorrow. Grant Plunkett playing left field and hitting 10th. Hitting 11th is extra hitter Andrew Miller. On the West Georgia Bombers side, they'll be led off by pitcher Ronnie Atrola. Then it's Xavier Hernandez, the shortstop. Ira DeBordy, the left fielder. Then Keaton Rice playing third base. Evan Templeton is playing catcher, hitting fifth. Hitting sixth is Braylon Harmon, the first baseman. Hitting seventh is K.J. Nelson, the second baseman. Hitting eighth is Jackson Watkins, and it's Brantley Carnes, the extra hitter. And hitting 10th is Aaron Mims. And we are just a few minutes away from first pitch here in this one. Be joined along the way by our own Grayson Rosen, as well as a visit from Robert Taylor, owner of the Windscreen Factory, the presenting sponsor for this weekend's Spring Flex Champions Weekend here across campus. So again, going to take a quick break here in studio. We join you as soon as we can with first pitch from this matchup from the Southeast Super Select.
2, 1.
We are underway here in our game of the day from the Southeast Super Select. Cory McCartney, Grayson Rosen with you. And going to lead things off for West Georgia Bombers is Roddy Artola, who also will be on the mound. He fouls off the first pitch out of the hands of Tyler Lowe. Artola at the plate. Carrollton 2029, 5th prep baseball event for this 770-pound lefty. Throws from the right side, as we'll see when they get into the field. Ropes that one into the gap. That's over top. Did he catch that one?
He did.
What a
That was
grab
great
to start things off. Man, we're getting some early entries here into our Aspen hospitality moments that matter with that great catch in center field. Wow, the leadoff hitter from Canes Lakeside making a nice grab, reaching back to snag that one and rob Ronnie Artola of extra bases.
That's a great way to start. Give your pitcher some confidence.
Xavier Hernandez now steps in. Hernandez from Troyanos. You ever heard of Troyanos?
I have not.
Yeah, it's a school in Georgia, Troyanos. We could almost play a game on here, whether it's a made-up Georgia high school.
You never know.
Well, Xavier hails from Troyanos, 5'6", 155-pound righty. 7th prep baseball event for him. Shortstop and right-handed pitcher. He's playing short today for West Georgia Bombers. And for a strike from Lowe.
Yeah, make it 2-1 count.
Lowe, East Paulding 2029, 8th prep baseball event for him. Got a fastball up around 72. Seems to be where he's hovering right now in these early goings of the first inning. Swing and a miss on a nasty one there.
Yeah, that was a big swing and a miss. See if Lowe can finish the job here. Started down 2-0 and brought it back on 2 straight. We'll see what we get on the third.
Ropes that one, man. He lost it.
Another great grab, man.
All right, so
wow.
Canes Lakeside bringing the leather here early on. That was Parker Leonardi making a fantastic grab. That was he let go of the bat like mid-swing. It looked like.
Yeah, that was interesting, but great grab right there at second base from Parker Leonardi. That's now second in the order. So
well, what do they do for the third?
Yeah,
I mean, what do they do for the third out
Who's
here?
Who's batting third? Chase Reese.
All right,
you're on the clock.
Okay, this one going into right field. It looks like. Ira DeBordy now at the plate for West Georgia Bombers. Ira Alexander, 2028, 3rd prep baseball event for him. 5'10", 180-pounder. Counts now 2-0. Maybe they saw what we did last week with those Aspen hospitality moments that matters. We had 3 double plays that were all in the running for that one. So we thought it was going to be more of an offensive showcase than that one. Defense led the way and is certainly doing the same here early in this one.
Just missed Low.
Yeah, now 3-0 count here to DeBordy. Keaton Rice, the third baseman, in the on-deck circle, unless we see some magic that follows suit here from Chase Reese, defensively in right field. And for a strike, DeBordy was ready to make that walk.
Yeah, he just caught the zone there on the bottom right. See if he can fight back here, force DeBordy into trying to make some contact and see what this defense can do again.
They have been awfully impressive so far. Here's the 3-1. Oh, gets a strike in the top of the zone there in the corner.
Let's see what Lowe's got to offer now.
We are all full on this count. 2 down in the inning. A couple miraculous defensive plays. We'll see payoff pitch. Rips that one down the left side foul. 86.8 off his bat.
Yeah, I think DeBordy kind of knew what was coming through and just couldn't quite wait on it enough.
Momentary delay here.
Got a bright catcher's mask back
there. Sure
there.
is, yeah. Well, the weather much more hospitable than it was a week ago when we were dealing with sideways rain and wind. Payoff pitch. Oh, draws the 2-out walk. Does DeBordy, and that will bring up third baseman Keaton Rice. This, of course, part of an extremely busy Champions Weekend, the Windscreen Factory Spring Flex Weekend. You see the nifty graphic there in the background with us. Of course, a lot going on this weekend. You were over at the Live at LakePoint select event, girls basketball, this morning. Packed house, a lot of college coaches over there?
Yes, a whole lot of college coaches from just about any program you can name at all levels. A bunch of schools from around Georgia at all levels there, and then seeing the ones that stuck out to me. I saw Illinois, Auburn, Cincinnati were a couple that I'd seen. So, and that was the early part of the day. That was about 8:30. So, I'm sure plenty more coaches have piled into there this afternoon.
0-1 put in play. That one's back up the middle. Shortstop cuts it off, but it's going into center field. So we have a 2-out walk and now a 2-out base hit for Keaton Rice. That'll bring up the catcher, Evan Templeton.
Yeah, real lucky that one gets past 3 different gloves to get to the outfield. Now West Georgia Bombers 2 outs, but now they've got 2 runners on and maybe a little bit of a confidence boost here. You can certainly say that they've been making good contact, though it got them 2 outs so far.
Brings up the catcher, Evan Templeton, an absolute grown man, 6'2", 215 pound, 2029.
See if he can use all of that.
Ooh, man, he was thinking runs on that swing, but it's going to be 0-1 as he swings through that offering from low. Then you got 2 on, 2 down. Top of the first inning in our game of the day from Southeast Super Select. Looping breaking ball, fouls that one off to make it 0-2. Canes Southeast, or Canes Lakeside more appropriately, in the back half of a back-to-back here as they played in the game right before this. 0-2 rips that one into center field, and that is going to be hauled in for the inning-ending out. Take a quick break here in studio. You are watching the Southeast Super Select.
The Windscreen Factory, more than just windscreen. We're a full-service sports facility contractor. We manufacture windscreen for sports and construction, do fence repair and installation, and fabricate field netting and batting cages. In addition to manufacturing the products, we also install upon request. We make safety padding for backstops, rails, and walls, as well as full-service print shop with logo, branding, and signage capabilities. Please call us for a quote today.
Welcome back to LakePoint Sports. You are watching the Southeast Super Select, Canes Lakeside against West Georgia Bombers, heading to the bottom of the first inning. Ronnie Artola on the mound for West Georgia Bombers will be facing off against Bodie Malcolm, Parker Leonardi, and Chase Reese to start things off for Canes Lakeside. Now joined by the Windscreen Factory owner, Robert Taylor, as we bring in the presenting sponsor of the Spring Flex Weekend across the LakePoint Sports campus. Robert, welcome in. Hope you're enjoying the Windscreen Factory being front and center all weekend long.
Absolutely. We've had great reception here, a lot of good feedback on our setup and our products throughout the facility.
Tell us a little bit about the relationship with LakePoint Sports and kind of how this whole thing came together.
So we, I like to say destiny sometimes, but, that's off the cuff. We came in early on at a time when there was a need, an urgent need, and we were able to meet the requirements quickly and efficiently. And that kind of gave us an opening to show our abilities and our products. And since that time, it's been a great relationship with LakePoint. Great people here, everybody fantastic stewards of the game and the sports community in general. Great people we love working with. And so we always strive for quality and providing solutions to whatever needs they have.
Going to have Bodie Malcolm step in here momentarily for Canes Lakeside to lead things off. Playing center field today. We saw a fantastic grab from him to start things off. Hillgrove 2028 again joined in studio here by Robert Taylor, owner of the Windscreen Factory. So Robert, tell me a little bit about why it was important for you to extend that partnership with LakePoint Sports to become the presenting sponsor for one of the Champions Weekends.
So our products are everywhere in the campus. Here in the baseball village, over at the Champions Center, over at the public soccer lacrosse fields. and people don't even realize our products are here. It's just part of the facility.
It's part of the fabric of it, right? Well, literally, it's I'm taking that a little bit literally, yeah.
And so by becoming a more visible partner and sponsor here at LakePoint, people can get to know the people behind the products and understand that this stuff just doesn't materialize on the field. Somebody has to provide it and install it, and we're those people.
It's almost like an offensive lineman, right? Like you don't notice it until it's bad, and you don't notice signage until you're like, what's going on here? What's wrong with that?
For sure. And, those offensive, defensive linemen, they're out there every day, hammering it away. And until they really outperform the competition, you ignore them as part of the game, and then you recognize, oh my gosh, that's an outstanding part of the game. And that's what we want to be.
You guys have obviously left your mark throughout the Metro Atlanta area as well as outside of it as well. A lot that you do is with sports, but certainly you guys go well beyond that. So kind of take me inside that journey a little bit of getting a foothold, establishing yourselves as a company that people can depend on, and then expanding well beyond just the sports sphere.
For sure. So we started off windscreen, obviously, and as we're out installing windscreen, we got a lot of feedback. Man, this is great, but we need these other products as well. And so we grew our product offering to meet the needs and demands of our clientele. And so many of these products cross industries. Yes, it's important in sports, and that's where you start. But safety, padding, the graphics, all these things are necessary in so many industries. Construction industry, in retail markets. It's hard to go into the full list of all the different
well, that's
industries.
A good thing, right?
Yeah,
when you expand that far out and the reach goes that far, that's a good thing. Just our Parker Leonardi ground out that's going to bring up Chase Reese. Now, obviously, a full staff of graphic designers as you guys have, wide format printers. You guys have put the work and built this infrastructure. It goes beyond, I think, just those initial touch points that you guys have of being really full service and allowing so many different ways, one for people to interact with you guys, but also for people to get in touch with you as well.
For sure. We started off with a small web presence, and hey, if you find us, we're here for you. But as technology advances and people want to communicate in various ways, we're on social media. We've got sales staff reaching out and finding those needs. You can contact us via text or social media, live video conferencing, just whatever technology brings, we try to be there on the cusp of for communication.
When you're building a business, when did you know, okay, this is going to work? Like, was there that time or that client or that opportunity that you had where you said, you know what, this is actually going to happen?
Well, as a business owner, I don't know how many business owners have that realization. You spend your life making sure you're where you need to be and you're meeting people's needs. The proof is in the pudding. We keep doing what we're doing and want to continue to be successful. I don't know that I've woken up and said, hey, I'm a superstar kind of thing.
Well, certainly you can have jobs that can seem daunting, jobs that are maybe a little bit obscure from things that you've typically. Is there one thing that sticks out? Like if you want to tell people about this is what the windscreen factory is capable of, like we got this job, it seemed a little crazy when we got it, but we pulled it off. Is there anything like that?
When you grow from the ground up, every bigger job seems that.
Yeah.
But some of the jobs we're most proud of include, 50-foot tall backstop or safety netting. That's not something that any little small company can do. You got to have the people and the equipment and the knowledge to be able to do that. Shade, huge market right now. With the graphics, full color graphics, murals, large format printing, all these things have opened new worlds to us, and we're really proud of all that and our people that make it happen. We've got great people. Everybody cares about what they do and making sure we provide the customer what they need.
That one is up against the wall. Run is going to score for Canes Lakeside, make it 2, and we're going to have a 2-run triple as Canes Lakeside gets on the board, and they've got, there's the crane. So you remember the Karate Kid movie, right? Like, everybody's doing that celebration now. But I don't know if you remember, like, I remember when I played, we didn't, like, you just were excited. You didn't have, like, but everyone's got a TikTok dance now. Everyone's like this. Everyone's trying to get on our social channels, these interactions.
For sure. And I'm glad that the kids can celebrate a little more. It's a different world than when we grew up. You just did because that's what you were supposed to do. Now everybody enjoys the accolades that they deserve sometimes.
Well, that was Trey Wilson III, the catcher. That's a catcher, by the way, raking like that. So we always love to see catchers that can rake and run, as we saw him work his way all the way to the triple. And that one's ripped down the left side, and that's going to be more trouble as Canes Lakeside going to get another run. We're going to have back-to-back extra bases. He's going to hold it second. He will, in fact, as that one goes back into the corner. So you mentioned, we're seeing it right now, what you guys do with we see the windscreen factory sign there in left field in front of the Element Hotel. You guys have made your mark all over this campus. How much pride then do you take when you step on this campus and it's just like, yep, we did all that?
Hard to describe, It's a warm feeling of accomplishment, pride in our company and our people, and a reminder of the relationship we have not only with LakePoint but with the sports community in general.
You guys do so much with schools as well. I mean, just what you're able to do within inside the school, outside their athletic facilities. I mean, it's just everywhere.
Schools, sports venues, construction companies. We do roadside. There's so many different things we do, and again, the graphics are such a huge part of it. People want to build their brand, their name. And this is an easy way to do it. Besides that, it makes these parks feel like a stadium, This looks like Truist Stadium as much as anything. And without all these products, you could play the game. It just feels so much better this way.
Let me ask you a really inside, so we might have a break here, really inside question for you. So I'm sure there was a point where you guys were making your signage and the graphics faded a little bit with, with the sun, and especially down here in Georgia, as much as we get into intense sun and you mentioned if shade is hard to come by a lot of times, especially here across this campus. How long did it take you guys to get to a point where you had something where, okay, this is going to last a long time in terms of what's printed?
So when we first started shopping for our equipment, we knew what our industry was, where this product would be. And we made sure that we bought UV printers. They print with an ink that's designed to be outside and hold up to the UV. All of our fabrics are UV protected for the outdoor environment. Black and white, LakePoint's color scheme here, that lasts the longest. It looks best. You've got the most contrast. Reds are vibrant, but they fade the quickest. Blue is kind of my favorite color, and what we built and the blues last a long time. So it's not only having the products and knowing that they'll last, but also guiding our customers in a direction that makes it last longer. So we try to give them the knowledge and expertise to go along with what they're designing to come out with the best product that's going to look the best for the longest amount of time.
Is that sometimes the biggest challenge, is when a customer comes in and they've got an idea, but then you have a reality and you're trying to lead them into maybe what's probably going to be the most cost-effective and the longest lasting, even though they might have a lot of reds, they might have these colors that pop, but you have to kind of hit them with reality a little bit.
Yeah, but it's not too much of a challenge. We've been very fortunate. A lot of our customers rely on our expertise and take our word for it. We have had, instances where you get a little pushback. Well, this is what I want, and I'm willing to deal with the negatives of it. And we show them examples of, well, this is what happened last time somebody said that.
Well, absolutely great stuff. And for more information, you can go to thewindscreenfactory.com, or you can find them on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, X, and LinkedIn as well. Robert, thanks for the time. Appreciate it so much. Enjoy the Spring Flex weekend.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, and I'm going to go enjoy the rest of the game.
All right, we'll be back with more from LakePoint Sports Baseball Village.
Hot summer days call for cool adventures in Cartersville Museum City. Beat the heat indoors with jaw-dropping exhibits at Telus Science Museum and the Savoy Automobile Museum. Hit the water at Terminus Wake Park, kayak the Etowah River, or head to Lake Allatoona for fishing, boating, and unbeatable lake days. When the sun sets, head downtown for live music, delicious eats, and local flavors. From family fun.
First one I picked up, I just liked it the best. And like I said, I tried a lot of different companies, a lot of different models, and I fell in love with Old Hickory for sure.
Welcome back to LakePoint Sports. You are watching our game of the day from the Southeast Super Select West Georgia Bombers, Canes Lakeside. Canes Lakeside taking a 3-0 lead in the top of the bottom of the first inning. I'm losing track of time here. We had back-to-back extra base hits in that one, including a 2-run triple from Trey Wilson, Ty Dunlap, following up with a double of his own. Going to start things off here with West Georgia Bombers sending Braylon Harmon to the plate along with KJ Nelson and Jackson Watkins. Tyler Lowe back on the mound for Canes Lakeside. You got a little bit of a break, a little reprieve there as Robert Taylor stepped in. You missed some action.
I certainly did. A big triple there that kind of blew this thing wide open to start for Canes Lakeside.
Dribbler put in play. Second base has it. Leonardi throws the first for the out.
Still looking at some good, solid defense right now.
Yeah, maybe when you're in here, it's all. I'm gonna probably have to go track Robert down because we need some more offense. So if this is another ill-gotten inning with no offense, we're gonna sub you out. Bring Robert back in here. We're gonna learn more about screen printing, and that's gonna end up with more runs on the board.
Hey, whatever works. I just want everybody to experience the best product possible.
That's right. That one put in play.
Oh,
foul, and
yes, he does.
Caught by the third baseman, C.J. Romanowski. I feel like he should be a middle linebacker.
Yeah. I think anything like that, the ski or any kind of suffix like that on a name just feels like a linebacker.
I think we actually had C.J. playing for another team at one point in one of these games. Pretty
Maybe.
sure, yeah. I think we did have C.J. before. All right, so now 2 down. We're going to go to Jackson Watkins, the right fielder, and he is first pitch swinging, sends that one deep into center field, and that is hauled in for an extremely quick inning for Tyler Lowe and Canes Lakeside. They continue to lead 3-0. We'll be back from the Baseball Village.
The Windscreen Factory, more than just windscreen. We're a full-service sports facility contractor. We manufacture windscreen for sports and construction, do fence repair and installation, and fabricate field netting and batting cages. In addition to manufacturing the products, we also install upon request. We make safety padding for backstops, rails, and walls, as well as full-service print shop with logo, branding, and signage capabilities. Please call us for a quote today.
Welcome back to LakePoint Sports. Cory, McCartney, Grayson, Rosen with you as we sit in the bottom of the second inning of our game of the day from the Southeast Super Select. Canes Lakeside leading 3-0 over West Georgia Bombers. This, of course, part of the Windscreen Factory Spring Flex weekend. Before you exited in the first inning, we were talking about your time over at the Live at LakePoint event, select events, basketball. So much more going on across campus as well. Also got NASA Top Hats, Adidas Select Cup Soccer. So there's that going on pretty much throughout the day, Saturday and Sunday. A number of high-level players will be involved in that. Over at the Publix Fields, also had the SRVA Championships at the Beach Pavilion, and of course, Terminus Wake Park in full swing as well.
It's always exciting when the whole campus just got something big going on. Just a lot of people around, a lot of things to see.
Unless you leave and try to come back and park.
That's true. That's true.
If you can get here early or leave your car, you're probably okay. But if you try to venture off, which is probably why you're best off just staying within walking distance if you're going to go anywhere, then you don't have to. But then if you go out to your car and drop anything off, somebody else pulls up and waits for you.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of wave them off, and then you get some sort of sign language from that person as they drive off. But, all right, we are rolling along here again. Canes Lakeside up 3-0. We've got Parker Perrin. It's going to be followed by C.J. Romanowski.
Big strikeout right there. Good breaking ball to get the third strike and first out in this
inning. Stuff always happens when I look down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I look down. So so we've figured out how we have good things happen. I look down.
Or I leave.
Or you leave. So one of those two things happens, and it's just absolutely on. All right, C.J. Romanowski, the third baseman, stepping in. Romanowski, Hillgrove 2029. Cobb Hawks, we had all those Hillgrove players. That's where we saw C.J. Romanowski.
You're probably right.
Ooh, look at that. Recall, people. Yeah,
that is recall.
Yeah. All right, he's got an 0-1 count here. 5'5", 107-pounder, 14th prep baseball event for C.J.
And that one a little bit inside on the hands. Makes it 1-1.
Trip Strickland in the on-deck circle. Comes the 1-1. Romanowski ropes that into right field. Is that going to be down? No, it's going to be caught for the second out. Defense leading the way here early on in this one.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe we get the defensive plays when I'm here.
That's right.
And the offensive when I'm not.
Robert Taylor has to step in for the offensive plays. All right, Trip Strickland's turn now. If you caught the interview with Jack McCartney pregame, Trip was at the Rising Stars preseason All-State in March. Brother Price on his way out of East Paulding to play for Georgia Highlands next year. Great moment. Jack asked Trip what he's learned from watching his brother Price, and he says, well, he's not very good. Little brother's allowed to say that. If big brother said little brother wasn't any good, then people would just say you're mean.
Yeah, when I got the chance to talk to Hayes McGinnis, both of his brothers played Georgia State. I asked him, who's the best athlete of the three? He was like, me.
Yeah, well, they always say that, right?
Yeah.
Comes the 1-1.
I think his oldest brother, Michael, even agreed in a video that had come out from Georgia State that Hayes is the one to look out for.
There you go.
There's a reason that he's got that high ranking in the class of 2027. That's for sure. Killing it for Noonan this season. Ooh. Duck and cover.
Count is now 3-1 here to Strickland.
See if Artola can pull things back together here and get him out of this bottom of the second.
Yeah, 2 hits so far for Canes at Lakeside, 1 for West Georgia Bombers. Skies that one back foul. If Strickland gets on, we'll see Grant Plunkert. John Pearson. So I was trying to remember a young brother who had brothers who had made it on. John Pearson's who the LSU commit, now signee. That one is roped in for the inning ending out. Had brothers, Josh, who played at LSU, Jacob, who's in the Braves system.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was another younger brother who said he was the man in terms of the pecking order. All right, quick inning defensively. We'll be back. Canes Lakeside lead 3-0 over West Georgia Bombers.
Hot summer days call for cool adventures in Cartersville, Museum City. Beat the heat indoors with jaw-dropping exhibits at TELUS Science Museum and the Savoy Automobile Museum. Hit the water at Terminus Wake Park, kayak the Etowah River, or head to Lake Allatoona for fishing, boating, and unbeatable lake days. When the sun sets, head downtown for live music, delicious eats, and local flavors. From family fun to date nights, summer memories start here. Plan your trip today at cartersvillemuseumcity.com.
Our LakePoint sports photographers deliver at the highest level, taking you inside the action here across campus. Yes, we've got game day covered, and now you can see not only your game through our lens, but you can purchase photos as well. Just use the QR code on screen for the latest images, galleries uploaded after the completion of tournaments and events. You can also go to lakepointsports.com for more information. Back here in our game of the day, West Georgia Bombers, Canes Lakeside. Tyler Lowe back on the mound. Cory, McCartney, Grayson, Rosen in studio with you. So might as well bring up the hottest topic in baseball right now. I was talking to Todd Marler from United Umpires about this earlier today. Obviously this week MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred removed Pete Rose, Shoeless Joe Jackson, among other deceased players from the permanently ineligible list. Kind of paves the way, obviously, for us to be talking Hall of Fame with some guys that I don't know if we ever legitimately thought that we would be talking Hall of Fame with. 16 players in total. Among them also Eddie Cicotti and third baseman Buck Weaver, who were part of that Black Sox scandal, along with Shoeless Joe Jackson. So certainly we're going to have to wait. It appears the earliest the likes of Rosen Jackson could be inducted would be 2028. They'll have to be on the Classic Baseball Era Committee, which is, of course, a subcommittee based off of former players, managers who are brought in. I'm going to put it on you. Do they get in?
No. So obviously the character clause is a big deal when it comes to the Baseball Writers Association voting in these players. And Pete Rose, aside from gambling, if you totally took gambling out of the case, there's some evidence against him as well on his character, on things that he admitted in cases that have happened after the gambling and after his career that I think would stop him from getting in. Obviously, he is an unbelievable player, but even if Barry Bonds isn't going to make it in, he's never even been technically caught with the steroids or proven guilty. And he's not going to make it in. I don't think a guy like Pete Rose will. And then with Shoeless Joe Jackson, he maybe has a better case, but, I mean, if he did it, he did it. If he was throwing, which I know he batted .345, but if he was throwing, then that's a problem.
Brantley Carnes puts that in play. It's going to drop down into left center for a base hit to lead things off for West Georgia Bombers. So now be followed by Aaron Mims, and then back to the top of the order, and Ronnie Artola. Now, I completely hear you. The one thing I keep going back to, though, is we're not putting people in for sainthood. Like I hold the
I agree with you. I'm looking for realism.
I hold the Baseball Hall of Fame in as high as regard as anybody. But I don't know if it's having like an understanding of the inner workings of how these committees work.
Ooh,
flip over to
great
second.
Play
yeah,
at
great
short.
job at short, man. Trip Strickland showing off with some glove work to get the out at second. So being at winter meetings in Nashville, a year when you had Bobby Cox and John Sherholtz were both on the subcommittee, and you had that year Dale Murphy back on the ballot, and Marvin Miller was on the ballot as well that year, and he ended up getting in, and that one is roped into right field for a base hit. And heard through the grapevine that it was basically laid out that certain people weren't going to vote for Dale Murphy if they didn't vote for Marvin Miller as well. And I think the politics of this is why ultimately I think you could end up getting a Pete Rose in, because I think for so many guys, where guys that played with him, guys that held him in a certain regard, that believe that he got a bad rap. I think as long as he's got a few people on that committee that believe that he deserves in and are going to hold fast and true on it, it could end up happening. Do I think personally? I think it should happen. Yes, and certainly growing up in Ohio and growing up watching Reds games and being a kid when Pete Rose was the player manager for that team and then later just the manager. Maybe I see it in a different light, but knowing the inner workings of how the politics are at play in those committees, and then knowing his impact and why a lot of people think that the fact that you're having FanDuel Sports and all these different gambling entities
Yes.
involved with Major League Baseball now that there's a little bit of hypocrisy with it. I think it could ultimately happen for both those guys.
Yeah, I do think it's weird with Rose because maybe he has the higher chance of it happening because he never even got to be on the ballot.
Yeah.
Shoeless Jackson was on the ballot. Nobody voted him in. So it's tough, but I think if I had to guess how it's going to go, I think neither of them still make it just because, I've seen how it goes. I mean, there's guys that don't get votes. There's guys that should be first ballot Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
I think it was somebody very recently, maybe it was Jeter, should have been first ballot unanimous. He was missing like one vote. It's things like that where, it just comes down to the guys that are voting on it are very, very strict about who they're going to give a vote
Well,
to.
so the one difference between this is he will not go on the writer's ballot.
Oh, that's true. That's true. It'll be through a different.
Yeah, so his case will be weighed by his peers.
Yes.
It'll be weighed by former players, managers, guys who.
So that does strengthen his chance. For
I
sure.
think it does because I think these guys are basically like, we're John Smoltz, there's a great article in The Athletic this week where they asked a number of Hall of Famers about the chances. And John Smoltz said there's a number of guys with felonies on their records who are in the Hall of Fame.
Exactly.
So, and I kind of go back to that. Like, I completely get this is the singular most important Hall of Fame in American sports. But it's also not sainthood. We're not... we're not holding morality. And I think sometimes it becomes a bit of a gatekeeper sense. But I will say that probably falls a little bit more on the writers who I was, obviously one of for a very long time.
Yeah.
More so than it does the players and the managers who are looking at these guys' cases.
We've got a big run-scoring opportunity here for West Georgia Bombers. Bases loaded, just one out here. Going to see what they can make happen now. A couple ducks on the pond.
Got Ira DeBordy at the plate right now. Keaton Rice to follow. One down in the inning. Tyler Lowe back on the mound. He's going to miss glove side. Count now 2-1.
The last time around, Ira DeBordy drew that walk. That was their first base runner of the game. So we'll see. Even something like that would earn him an RBI and get West Georgia Bombers on the board.
Looking to answer after back-to-back extra base hits for Canes Lakeside. That one's popped up.
Is that one going to have enough distance? I think it is.
Does. Right fielder gets over
his
the top of his head. Here comes one run for West Georgia Bombers. Going to make it 2. Off to the races. Going to hold it second and third, and we have a 3-2 ball game now as Ira DeBordy comes through. 2 RBI on his ledger.
You certainly got to feel a little bit of luck right there, but great work by West Georgia Bombers as well from the base runners. They were held up, and reasonably so, but good work turning on the gas and getting 2 of those runs in.
Keaton Rice now steps in, the third baseman. West Georgia Bombers in business as Ira DeBordy comes through. Alexander 2028 has made it a 3-2 game. It's in for a strike to start it off. How does Lowe respond? We saw, honestly, Ronnie Atrola, after he ran into some problems after those back-to-back extra base hits, I thought looked really good in the last inning. Now Lowe is running into trouble for the first time as he's given up some runs. Count now 1-1 here to Rice.
Yeah, I think with Lowe, he's thrown a lot of pitches already for just being in the top of the third. We saw them kind of run up the pitch count there early in that first inning, taking him to 3 ball counts, and it's going to pay you're going to pay the price. And when you get deeper and deeper into these starts, it's a little bit harder to keep the control, and in that case, maybe a guy like Keaton Rice gets a hold of something over the plate. See what he's got for him on 2-1. Still just 1 out with the runners in scoring position.
Puts it in play, gets past the third baseman. Keaton Rice got himself an RBI. Let's make it 2 as he's headed into second base. Now we've got back-to-back extra base hits for West Georgia Bombers, and they've got a 4-3 lead here in the third.
That's huge right there from Keaton Rice. I mean, you got set up. You got a little bit lucky on the last one, having that one go over the right fielder's head, but that one was undeniable from Keaton Rice, just putting that one straight down the line. What a fantastic offensive inning, just capitalizing off of a little bit of control issues that we saw from Lowe on the mound and now making it happen with the bats.
So you are able to be in here for offensive moments.
I guess so.
Yeah.
We just had to talk about the Hall of Fame for a minute. I had to get a little fired up.
That's right. Evan Templeton now steps in, all 6'2", 215 pounds of him.
We were talking in the last break. You did the read for our photography that's launched now for any West Georgia Bombers parents. I know that they've been here the last 2 weeks. Plenty of photos up from both events of those players. So feel free to take a look on there and see if any of your guys got a good shot of them.
Yeah, you're doing a fantastic job, by the way, spearheading that whole initiative. And we've gotten it over the years. I mean, we're always out there taking photos, and people are always asking us, how do we get these photos? How do we buy these photos? Because we'll put a certain amount of them up on our social channels, but now we are opening the books, literally, and showing everybody all the great photography we have across campus and giving everybody an opportunity to take a moment of their time here at LakePoint Sports home with them. Almost think of it like, when you ride a roller coaster and you get off and you get to go through and you see yourself with your hands up, and we're providing
exactly.
that. We should make some kind of like graphic border for it, right?
Yeah.
When you ride, like Velociraptor and you get off there and it shows you all the stuff. Yeah, we should make that happen.
I assure you that it's not going to cost you like $100 to get one picture, like it does with some of those.
Don't tell them that.
Not 100. Okay. I'm open to say that it won't be $100 for one picture.
All right, fair enough. If they would like to spend hundreds of dollars,
they're
on pictures,
more than welcome.
Yeah, they are more than welcome to.
And if you're going to buy 5 or more photos, if you use the code BUNDLE, all caps, at checkout, you get 20% off.
We've turned this into QVC now.
Yeah.
2-2 count, Templeton.
Calls time. Let me see. Maybe we just need a reset.
The 2-2. It's going to get away from the catcher, and runner's taking off for third. The throw is in plenty of time, but it gets away from the third baseman. So safely into the bag as that one gets away. And another runner in scoring position, moves 90 feet more for West Georgia Bombers.
Yeah, that's a tough one to miss out on for Canes Lakeside right there. Just a great throw on time, but just a little bit low, and really tough play there for the third baseman to hold on to it. So West Georgia Bombers setting themselves up well once again in this inning.
Another wild pitch off the walk, but runner will stay at third. So we had a couple good entries so far for our Aspen Hospitality moment that matters. So far, eyeing that Trey Wilson triple and the 2-run double from Keaton Rice, which have been huge, getting us to this 4-3 game. And then some great, fantastic glove work from Canes Lakeside. I mentioned it, all going on here across campus all weekend long. So if you're able to make it out, there is plenty happening here at the Baseball Village, of course, over at Publix Fields, Champion Center, and Beach Pavilion. And, of course, get over to Terminus. Getting a little warmer out, so people might want to go for a ride over there. All right, in steps Braylon Harmon.
Yeah, if you're Canes Lakeside, you'd love to try and keep this double play in order, but you have to assume that Bombers are going to send that runner early.
Really missing a lot on glove side, Lowe has been these past 4 or 5 pitches. Well, not to have a word with him, but happened again.
You just have to keep thinking about that pitch count. Only through 2.1 innings,
yeah,
up
50
to
pitches.
50.
That's the next pitch is number 50, and that one's
roped.
ripped.
Ooh,
Leonardi, oh
what
man,
a
what
play.
oh man, did they
Got
get him?
Wow.
Wow, what a fantastic
man.
double play as we saw Leonardi go to Strickland to go to the first baseman, Perrin, to get out of the inning. Canes Lakeside just absolutely laying down the leather early in this one. All right, we will be back. You're watching the Southeast Super Select from LakePoint Sports. Welcome back. 4-3 lead for West Georgia Bombers. They scored 4 runs in the top of the third inning to take control in this one. See if Canes Lakeside can respond. They will be sending Grant Plunkett, Andrew Miller, and Bodie Malcolm to the plate in this one. Feels like when Canes Lakeside was hitting, they were up forever, but this is the first time that they're getting through the order.
Oh, well, we'll see what they can get done here. West Georgia Bombers, Artola has been very good after that inning where he gave up the triple, but see if he can keep things rolling here for his bottom of the third.
Yeah, he gave up back-to-back extra base hits during that 3-run first inning, but has absolutely regained, or we'll say gained his composure.
Yeah.
We're giving him the composure. We've gifted him the composure, and Ronnie Artola is running with it.
Give him some extra love, too. The curveball he just threw in warm-ups about 2 pitches ago had a beautiful shape to it, so I'd love to see him maybe on a 2-strike count whip that thing out.
I don't know that I'm a huge fan of going through your warm-ups and showing that pitch during your warm-up.
That's true.
You know, like I don't want the opposing hitters to know I have that in my
back
pocket.
That's one of those things, you do it in like the bullpen before the game, but when you're on the field, take it easy, just keep the arm warmed up.
It's very similar to the catcher that doesn't show off the full arm strength in the throwdown.
Yeah.
You want them to know you got a little something, but you don't want them to know all that you've got.
Yeah.
So maybe you're 75, 80%, and then when they start running the bases, they think we can run on this guy, then you let it fly.
Artola's letting it fly. See what he brings here on 0-1.
I like the leg kick.
Yeah.
Skies that one back.
I think there is a picture up on our site of him.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
It looks very good.
Yeah.
I think that one's actually on the socials. You can go check that one out for yourselves on Instagram and Twitter.
We're going to put some like 2x4s in front of him so he can break them with that kick.
I think he could make it over a hurdle.
You think so? Yeah. Second base has it. Slow roller throws for the out. It's KJ Nelson over there at second base, by the way, for West Georgia Bombers.
Really valuable to get those quick outs early in the inning to try and dampen the attempts at scoring more runs. I mean, the runs have come in batches. It's a 3-run inning and a 4-run inning, respectively. So we'll see how that gets it done.
Down goes Plunkett on that ground out, and here's Andrew Miller, Harvester Christian Academy, 2029.
Not to be confused with longtime MLB reliever Andrew Miller.
Yeah, built very differently.
Very differently. Andrew Miller, no offense, might be double his height.
Yeah. Well, Andrew's listed at 4'11". That might be about right because you got Templeton, who's 6'2", who's on his knees and about the same height.
Yeah.
The 1-1. Artola's offering, gets away from his catcher, goes to the backstop. Bodie Malcolm making the play. Got a bit of a, okay, I'm going to figure out what our delay is. Blue just stepped off for a second. 1-1.
Grabbing some extra baseballs.
This turned into one of those days where I'm sure the West Georgia Bombers are second-guessing black uniforms.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Comes the 1-1. Oh, the delay on the leg kick gets him swinging a miss, messing with the timing.
I like it. I like that a lot. When you've got that kind of exaggerated movement, adding into it is always going to throw off the timing of a hitter. And when you're lucky enough to have no runners on base, you can kind of do it however you want. Ooh, there it is.
Oh,
There's
man,
that curveball I was talking about. The shape on that is just so perfect. It sweeps pretty well, and it's got that late action. That was a fantastic pitch right there.
Ronnie Artola leaves him frozen for the strikeout, out number 2, and now it's going to be Bodie Malcolm, the leadoff hitter.
And when you couple that, I mean, that's 63.5 on that curveball. He's been throwing the fastball 76 to 78. It's going to be a killer breaking ball for you.
Strike in the outside corner.
He looks really, really good right now.
He's got a Templeton doing a great job behind the plate on the framing as well. Oh,
that's crushed.
Oh, that is absolutely crushed. 85-5 off his bat. Where did it go?
It is
Nobody
a fair
knows
ball.
as our Camera did not cut. He's going to make his way into second base.
Oh,
no way. He's on his way into third. Malcolm's got himself a 2-out triple. Reason to celebrate as Canes Lakeside. And there's a Crane. Got himself a runner in scoring position.
At this point, you almost can't go an extra base hit without seeing it.
Yeah, I think that's our second time today we've seen that.
They show up out of nowhere.
They do.
That is a very, very big moment with 2 outs to put yourself in scoring position, especially on third base. Make something happen. And we talked about our totals looked really good, but even if you catch a piece of it, you can make something happen.
Parker Leonardi in that impressive flow steps in with the runner at third and 2 down. Miss inside. It's Chase Reese to follow if the inning goes that long. This one's turned into a lot of fun so far here. We're just in the bottom of the third inning, 7 combined runs. Leonardi skies this one. Who's got it? Shortstop says he does, and he in fact has it, and that'll bring it into the inning. West Georgia Bombers continue to lead 4-3 as Canes Lakeside strains a runner at third. We'll be back with more from the Baseball Village.
The Windscreen Factory, more than just windscreen. We're a full-service sports facility contractor. We manufacture windscreen for sports and construction, do fence repair and installation, and fabricate field netting and batting cages. In addition to manufacturing the products, we also install upon request. We make safety padding for backstops, rails, and walls, as well as full-service print shop with logo, branding, and signage capabilities. Please call us for a quote today.
We are back, 4-3 lead for West Georgia Bombers in our game of the day from Southeast Super Select, part of the Windscreen Factory Spring Flex. As you see the great-looking graphic behind us on top of the picture of the LakePoint Sports Campus. Cory, McCartney, Grayson, Rosen with you. Tyler Lowe is back out for another inning. He's thrown 50 pitches so far. His last inning coming to an end with number 20 and number 23. Parker Leonardi, Trip Strickland, doing the dirty work on turning a fantastic double play that we've got in the mix for our Aspen Hospitality moment that matters. We've got 3 really good entries so far. We'll see Definitely. If we get any more into the fold there, but certainly stick around as we'll break that down post-game. Comes the throw down, and see KJ Nelson, Jackson Watkins, and Brantley Carnes for West Georgia Bombers.
Yeah, interested to see how Lowe comes out in this inning. We saw him kind of have a little bit of a shaky third inning, but got himself out of it, not without surrendering a couple of runs, but see if he can maybe reel things back in here for the top of the fourth. It was definitely big for him to get that double play. When you've only had 1 out in the inning and you're at 50 pitches, you really needed that double play.
Carrollton 2029. KJ Nelson at the plate, playing second base today for the West Georgia Bombers. 5'9", 145-pounder. Carrollton went on a nice run in the GHSA state playoffs that was ended by Etowah. What a crazy turn of events, though, that Etowah ends up facing Lowndes and loses in 2 games. So that I think when we look back at the completion of the GHSA state playoffs, that's probably going to be the most stunning thing that happened. Not that they lost, but that they lost in 2 games.
Yeah, in 2 games especially. And to see that Lowndes lineup kind of just batter both Matthew Sharman and Jackson Rose.
Nelson puts that into center field as it skips past the glove of Tyler Lowe and gets himself a leadoff single. When we had Etowah here against Houston County, I think I walked away with it with the thought that if you can get past Sharman and Jackson Rose, Sharman on his way to Georgia, Jackson Rose, UNC signee, maybe you had a chance.
Yeah.
I didn't see them going down with those 2 on the mound.
No, No, but Lowndes certainly rose to the occasion. I mean, they have their fair share of superstar talent.
Well,
so.
look, they're obviously a power, and the runner takes off for second base, and Nelson bounces away from Strickland and goes into center field and got himself a stolen base. It's almost like not being in the metro Atlanta area serves them a little bit because it's like they have a chip on their shoulder. It's like they're a little under the radar. But everybody knows they're going to bring a bunch of dudes, and that's what Lowndes is. Like they're going to come with a lot of really good players, but they're not necessarily going to get the fanfare because they're not in the Metro Atlanta area.
Yeah, and I mean they're really far away from any of the Georgia coverage to really get down there.
Well, talking to Hudson Graham about it a year ago, he found somebody in South Georgia that was going to be able to help him out because it was a struggle. It was a struggle to get to Coffee County. It was a struggle to get down to Lowndes. It was a struggle to get Valdosta. It was just covering some really good teams down there became problematic. Because there's so much happening here in Metro Atlanta. Nelson takes off for third to throw, gets away from the third baseman. KJ Nelson going to make his way home. Make it a 5-3 lead now for West Georgia Bombers.
We've seen quite a few problems just fielding the throwdowns from the catcher. That's now the third time that one of those throwdowns has gotten away just in 2 innings.
You've got a red helmet and some red hair behind the plate, by the way.
I think that might be intentional.
Lakeside. Yeah. Trey Wilson III, who had that 2-run triple. Big Red, we'll call him, behind the plate. And that one's on its way for a walk.
See if West Georgia Bombers can just keep rolling here. Had a great top of the third and top of the fourth. It's off to a hot start. You already scored a run, no outs yet. Runner on first base.
That's Brantley Carnes who drew the walk, and that's going to bring up Aaron Mims, the center fielder.
Certainly would love to see the bottom of the order here get on base and set up those guys at the top that have been doing so well.
Mims shows bunt, pulls back.
There's another throw down.
Oh, man, they're going to have him in a rundown. Carnes making his way back to first base. Lakeside trying to close it.
There it is.
Yep,
Great
Strickland
work.
Closes the door. Make it 1 down now.
Yeah, great work on Canes. Just slowly closing in on him, back and forth, and just kind of wearing the runner down is half the battle.
All right, that was Parker Leonardi, by the way, that finished things off. Camera's a little bit blurry at the moment, so I kind of missed thinking that was Strickland. Still got Mims at the plate, 1-0 count. Miss going to make it 2-0. Mims, of course, was a rapper who had the song "This Is Why I'm Hot." So I'm wondering if Aaron Mims would like to dial that up here on a 2-0 count. Show us why he's hot. He's got it in play. Third baseman has it, gathers throws in time, and that's out number 2.
Yeah, good recovery there. It looked like a little bit rough there trying to field it, but it got away from a little bit and picks it up, recovers well, makes a good throw over to first.
Brings up this is actually Aaron Mims. That was Brantley Carnes. We kind of got messed up a little bit on the scoreboard operation, so I was just setting the stage for Aaron Mims. Apparently, Ronnie Artola to follow.
Mims put that one out to the outfield.
It's going to be caught for out number 2, so
that's
quick
3.
AB for him, and that's out number 3. I think maybe everyone was confused there momentarily.
I think so.
Yeah, they were all holding on to the field. They just didn't want to go anywhere. They wanted to keep rolling along. West Georgia Bombers lead 5-3. We'll be back. You're watching the Southeast Super Select.
The Windscreen Factory, more than just windscreen. We're a full-service sports facility contractor. We manufacture windscreen for sports and construction, do fence repair and installation, and fabricate field netting and batting cages. In addition to manufacturing the products, we also install upon request. We make safety padding for backstops, rails, and walls, as well as full-service print shop with logo, branding, and signage capabilities. Please call us for a quote today.
Welcome back to LakePoint Sports. Cory McCartney, Grayson Rosen with you. 5-3 lead for West Georgia Bombers over Canes Lakeside in our game of the day from the Southeast Super Select. So we're going to have a Ronnie Artola and Chase Reese matchup to start the 4th inning. Reese will be followed by Trey Wilson the 3rd and Ty Dunlap.
Certainly a part of the order you want up if you want things done. 3, 4, 5. Due up here in the bottom of the 4th, down 2 runs.
The Canes Lakeside scored all 3 of their runs in the bottom of the 1st inning, so looking for a response here. Five hits for West Georgia Bombers, 3 for Canes Lakeside. Artola pumps that in, makes the count 1-1. He's really settled in since that 1st inning. 47 pitches so far for Artola here in the 4th.
There's that curveball again.
Oh, yeah, it's in there for a strike. Through his first 3 innings, allowed 3 hits, 3 runs, all earned, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. He's got a 1-2 count here to Reese. Misses on the outside. I bet he goes back to that breaking ball here. Reese in East Paulding 2029, 12th prep baseball event for him.
Not his 12th?
12th. What could be? Maybe it is.
Could be.
I like the pink bat, though. Comes to 2-2. Reese sends that back foul.
Seems like maybe we're starting to see a little bit of a downtick in the velo from Artola. Makes sense through 3 innings, but he has pumped it back up into the 77 in this bat.
See what he's got here on the 2-2. Miss inside, runs the count full.
You hit 77 again there, so worry not.
Tops out at 79. Nice to see if we could see him hit 80 in this one. Not sure me.
Maybe that time may have passed
You
by
think
now.
so? You don't think he can just?
I mean, I'd love to see him do it.
Deep.
I'm not counting him out, but the 75 did the job.
Sure did. He's got himself strikeout number 3 as Reese goes down on strikes. And it's going to bring up Trey Wilson the 3rd. Wilson 1 for 1. Of course, his first AB resulted in a 2-run triple. They got the scoring started for Canes Lakeside.
If he wants any runs here, he's going to have to do it himself, but I think just a base runner would suffice for Canes Lakeside as they're just trying to crawl back into this one.
A miss inside at 77. Pitch number 53 for Artola. For Wilson, we'll see Ty Dunlap. Wilson, East Paulding, 29. Rips that down the right side. First baseman gathers it, makes the trip to the bag ahead of Wilson, and that'll be out number 2. A hard hit ball, 80.2. Had to scramble to make that play, but nice job defensively at first base from Braylon Harmon.
Yeah, good work by West Georgia Bombers. Both of these last 2 innings, you retire the first 2 batters. Just makes it that much harder for Canes Lakeside to try and get anything going in these innings when you get those early outs.
Ty Dunlap, another Harvester Christian Academy player, steps in, 16th prep baseball event for him. Dribbler goes foul.
For a second, it looked like he didn't even hit it.
Yeah.
It like barely came off the bat. I mean, we got the exit velo read 35.
Yeah, I saw that number, thought maybe he check swinged or something.
I mean, that could be the velo if it just hit off of him.
Yeah.
Comes in a little high and inside.
The count is now 1-1. Dunlap 1 for 1 today. He followed that Wilson triple with a 1-run double of his own. Dunlap sends that one back foul. Count now 1-2. Momentary break here. All right, Templeton back in play behind the plate. Here comes the 1-2. That one is put in play into left field. Drops in between the left fielder and shortstop. Had his glove extended, but one of those moments there where maybe shortstop needs to back off and let the left fielder make a run on that one. But nonetheless, it's going to be a 2-out single for Ty Dunlap, his second hit of the day.
Yeah, I think you played it pretty smart, but potentially that left fielder could have made the play out there. Ooh, sorry about that.
That's
but
all right, bless
potentially the left fielder could have made that play, but in that case, the left fielder kind of backs up the shortstop as he makes his attempt, and you play it pretty safe there and just allow the runner to get on first.
Tyler Lowe 0 for 1. He's first pitch swinging. Lowe sends that one in. The left fielder drops it. Tyler Lowe's going to make his way to second base. Dunlap making the trip home, and he will be in there for a run, make it 5-4. West Georgia leads over Kane Lakeside now here in the fourth.
Yeah, it's a huge moment right there. Now both teams have kind of had that unfortunate dropped pop fly near the warning track that just is a whole lot of trouble. And Kane's Lakeside taking advantage of it this time. Makes it a one-run ball game. Runner in scoring position, 2 outs.
Third extra base hit for Kane's Lakeside off of Ronnie Artola. Now it's Parker Perrin, the first baseman, trying to get the mojo rolling along a little bit more and see if they can even this thing up as we sit 5-4 here in the bottom of the fourth with 2 outs.
Yeah, Artola missed high there, but this is a huge moment here for Perrin. Tied this game up with the swing of the bat.
We did get the courtesy runner, by the way, for Lowe at second base, and that's going to be the last batted out.
It's like Chase Reese.
It's the strike call inside, make it 1-1.
Looks like maybe he knew it was a strike, just wasn't his pitch.
If Perrin gets on, we will see C.J. Romanowski. Goes back to that same spot, but he fouls that one off. Count now 1-2.
See what Artola can bring here, trying to get out of this trouble that he's found himself in late in this inning.
Seemed like a perfect spot for that vaunted curveball that he's shown us a few times.
We'll see. I think maybe against the lefty it loops just a little bit too much. He's left it pretty well over the plate. It's more been about the mystique. Do you even know if he's going to throw it at all?
He does. Yeah, he goes for it, but misses the handle on it. Count now 2-2.
That's a tough situation to pull that curveball out in, especially for a young player.
Count now even. Got 2 outs. Runner at second. Misses arm side. Count now going to be full here to Perrin. Again, you got C.J. Romanowski to follow if Perrin gets on base.
Big spot here for Kane's Lakeside, trying to tie this game back up in the bottom of the fourth. Swing and a miss.
Make it strikeout number 4 for Ronnie Artola. They strand a runner. West Georgia Bombers lead 5-4 as we move along. You're watching Southeast Super Select from LakePoint Sports.
We're here at LakePoint Sports, the site of the first curve test center. There will be lots of curve test centers, but this will always be the first. And why are we here? Here for a couple of reasons. One is if you think about the effort players are spending trying to get coaches to notice them, the effort coaches are spending trying to figure out who's actually any good, the poor parents who are sitting there saying, where's my kid headed? This is the answer for all that.
Everyone wants to be seen, right? Sometimes what can be seen is data. So it's hard to get in front of coaches at all these programs at once, or even the school you really want to go to. So using data helps us a ton. And as long as it's reliable and there's something that can give us better information with the small sample size is what we're looking for.
Three, two,
Curve Test Centers is redefining player and performance data when it comes to evaluation and recruiting. Test your athletic, cognitive, and baseball skills with TrackMan, Proteus, and more. Visit at the Bubble here on the LakePoint Sports Campus or sign up now at curvetestcenter.com. Don't miss this chance to level up your game. We are back here at LakePoint Sports, a 5-4 lead for West Georgia Bombers over Canes Lakeside as we are sitting in the top of the 5th inning in our game of the day from Southeast Super Select. Ronnie Artola just got himself an inning-ending strikeout on the mound, and now he's going to be facing off against Tyler Lowe to start off the inning. Artola will be followed by Xavier Hernandez and Ira DeBordy.
Yeah, Lowe's really gone the distance. Great work in his last inning, just 11 pitches. He's going to keep rolling here now into the top of the 5th.
Yeah, he has thrown 61 as we're moving along, and Artola has been through this thing the entirety thus far for West Georgia Bombers as well. So a couple well-pitched games. We've seen a combined 10 hits. But the main factor so far is we've not seen a ton of walks. Just one issue by Artola. He sends that one foul.
And now at this point in the game, West Georgia Bombers, you really would like to get some runs up on the board here. Try and pad that lead a little bit now that Canes Lakeside shown that even past the first inning, they can put up runs.
The one thing about Lowe, I think we've surmised so far, is he's a guy who pitches the contact. To this point, does not have a strikeout. There has been some fantastic defensive plays made behind him. They littered the first inning, and then, of course, we saw that really great inning-ending double play as well. Artola puts that in play, and that one's going to be a little bit of a mystery to us here. Looks like they are able to get Artola for the first out.
If I had to guess, it was a ground out to either first or second baseman, and they got him out there at first base. But nonetheless, one out quickly for Lowe, and it's going to make his inning just a little bit easier.
Now we've got Xavier Hernandez, Troyanos 2029. You're going to look up Troyanos. We're going to get some intel on Troyanos. In for a strike. Is it not real?
I got nothing.
You got nothing. All right, so does Troyanos exist? Grok, does Troyanos exist? Actually, now it says Carrollton on his prep baseball profile. That was actually what it said earlier this week.
Interesting.
When I went through and was putting the rosters together. So Xavier Hernandez, Carrollton 2029, not the made-up Troyanos school, but he goes down on strikes. There's your first strikeout for Tyler Lowe. Second out of the inning. I was really excited to get some intel on Troyanos and figure this whole thing out. And
I don't think there's too much to go over with Carrollton. I think everybody's pretty aware of the powerhouse that is.
Yeah, we had them here during the Georgia Dugout Club tournament, had Mannix Mansour, one of my In the Spotlight interviews. Strickland's got that. Quick glove work, man. Wow, he's looking awfully good over there at short. Brings it into the inning. West Georgia Bombers, though, continue to lead 5-4. We'll be back from LakePoint Sports. Welcome back. If anybody out there can make a coffee run, producer Mason Monroe having some caffeine withdrawal back in there in the studio, as he let us know during the commercial break. So, Mason, we feel you, and we'll see if we can get somebody to come through for you. 5-4 lead for West Georgia Bombers here as we set in the bottom of the 5th inning. Ronnie Artola back out for another inning of work. There's a throwdown behind the plate from Evan Templeton. We'll get things going here. C.J. Romanowski, Trip Strickland, and Grant Plunkert will be at the plate for Canes Lakeside. We're looking at about 32 minutes of work of time left in this, by the way.
Okay, interesting. We're definitely going to have to keep that in mind with how close this game is. But I love that we're seeing both these pitchers continue to go the distance, despite the fact that they have kind of gotten unlucky at times, giving up some runs. They've both pitched some pretty good games.
Maybe they're getting ready for a bullpen game later in this one.
Could
for a strike. Need their starters to go deep in this outing, and so far, so good for both Artola and Lowe.
So maybe some discomfort in the thigh. The right thigh. Maybe it's from that leg kick, holding up that whole body.
0-1 put into play, and that's going to drop down in front of the left fielder. We basically had the exact same thing we had happen in left field with the left fielder, and the shortstop happens in right with the second baseman, and that's going to drop down for a base hit for Romanowski, and that's going to bring up Strickland.
It looked like the right fielder might have even been cheating in just a little bit.
He almost seemed surprised.
Yeah, still couldn't quite get to it. So Canes Lakeside, a hot start. First time in a couple innings that they've not gone 2 outs immediately and then had to work from there.
Strickland 0 for 1. See if he can move the chain along. Canes Lakeside looking to answer. They trail by 1. Romanowski taking off the throws in plenty of time. They got him, man. Nice job of getting the tag down on his leg. And huge job behind the plate there from Evan Templeton to mow down the runner.
Yeah, that's huge. And that was called a strike as well. So you got the strike there to open up the at-bat and got that out on the base paths. That is huge for West Georgia Bombers, trying to just ward off any more attempts at runs scored for Canes Lakeside.
All right, so Strickland's got an 0-1 count. Now 1 down in the inning off the caught stealing from Templeton. I've been really impressed with Evan Templeton. It's not only a big frame, but the kid can absolutely play behind the plate. 1-1's the count. Strickland drops that in for a base hit. Back-to-back base hits for Canes Lakeside to start off this inning, but the caught stealing negates the lead runner, so we'll have Strickland at first with 1 down and bring up Grant Plunkert.
Might be safe to assume that they'll play it safer with Strickland on first this time around. See if Plunkert can move him along himself without having to test the arm of the catcher.
Plunkert, the Alatoona 2029, puts that right up the middle, and that's going to be back-to-back-to-back base hits for Canes Lakeside here in the 5th.
Artola just kind of putting it over the plate right now.
Well, you mentioned the velo drop, right? We're seeing it right around. We saw him getting up around 78 to start off. He's sitting around 74, 75 here in the 5th inning, and that pitch count now up to 71 pitches. See if we can get through this inning for West Georgia Bombers. But they are certainly seeing him well at the plate to start off this inning.
Yeah, for Canes Lakeside, you're very glad that the last couple guys in the order have been hitting. We're now at the last guy in the order, and Andrew Miller. He's going to lay down the bunt maybe. Pulls it back in time for a ball. But you certainly want these guys contributing now, and hoping that the guys at the top of the order can continue that good work.
1-0 is the count. 2 on. Shows bunt again.
Ooh,
pops it up, though.
Way up. Went so far back it hit the net. Kind of lucked out there.
All right, 1-1 now the count here to to Andrew Miller, excuse me. After Miller, it's leadoff hitter Bodie Malcolm. Shows bunt again. Make it 1-2.
Whenever I say anything about this, it typically doesn't happen, but you can assume that he's not going to bunt, but he might. You never know. It has happened multiple times.
It depends how frustrated the coaches are that he didn't get the bunt put down in one of the first 2 innings. Saw Robert Taylor just walk by from Windscreen Factory and
there's that
goes down
curveball
on strike. Artolo goes to the curveball and gets the strikeout of Miller, make it 2 down. Could be a frustrating inning for Canes Lakeside if they're unable to cash in. 3 straight base hits. The leadoff hitter, C.J. Romanowski, mowed down at second base on the throw down from Templeton for the first out, but they have responded to get ducks on the pond here, and we're back to the top of the order for Bodie Malcolm. Curveball drops in for a strike.
It's the first time we've seen him open up an at-bat with that curveball, but certainly a good start to your 2-out at-bat to get that opening strike.
Malcolm 1 for 1. He's got 2 on, 2 down.
He goes back to the curveball again for a swing and a miss, make it 0-2.
So you talked about it against lefties earlier. He goes inside with it there, which makes for a really tough look for a lefty at the plate. So now he's got him 0-2. You assume at this point, if he's got anything left in the tank on a fastball, we're going to see it here.
Yeah, with the lefties, you're really just trying to put it at their knees and really just throw them off. See, it goes high with the fastball.
Yeah, elevates the fastball, misses though. 76.7 makes the count 1-2.
Yeah, we've seen when he's throwing it against righties, he kind of likes to keep it high, make a guy kind of not think he's going to swing at it, maybe think it's going to be over his head and throw off his balance on even if he attempts a swing. But against the lefties, certainly likes to put it low and inside.
Let's see if he goes off speed here.
There it is, but just misses.
Count is now 2-2 here to Malcolm. And you got 2 on, 2 down. We've seen 3 straight base hits for Canes Lakeside. They're trying to cash in. Only 2 runners on, though, now after the caught stealing. 2-2. Ooh, just misses now. Count's going to be full here to Malcolm.
That was a real close one. Artola probably going to wish he could have had that one back, but we'll see what he can do on 3-2.
The next pitch will be number 81 for Artola. It's payoff pitch, and he draws the walk, so bases are now loaded as Bodie Malcolm makes his way down to first base, and that'll bring up Parker Leonardi. Might be suffice to say that's the end of the day for Ronnie Artola. Well, remains to be seen as we have the coach coming out there to have a conversation.
We might just talk about it. I mean, we did just see Artola on back-to-back pitches, 77.5, 77.6. So if he needs to tick it up, he can bring the velo, but you're maybe more looking for control.
Because I think in this inning we've seen a few things that maybe are worrisome, right? We saw kind of the uncomfortableness on the leg kick, so we saw him grab the back of his leg. We've seen the velo go down, but now it's ticked back up. But as you mentioned, the control hasn't always been there this inning, as that was just his second issued walk in this game, and we saw 3 straight base hits as well. As Canes Lakeside has some success against him.
Yeah, you certainly can't afford to allow a run here, so Artola's going to need to lock things up right now if you want anything to come out of this inning.
Leonardi is 0 for 2. Sends the first pitch back foul. Chase Reese to follow if he gets on. This inning has been opportunity knocking for Canes Lakeside. See if they can answer if they're going to either draw even or take the lead here in the 5th. Feels like the kind of inning that can sway a game one direction or the other. Puts it in play. Left fielder camps underneath it. Nope, shortstop has it, and he'll bring an end to the inning. Canes Lakeside strands some runners, unable to cash in off 3 straight singles. West Georgia Bombers are still leading 5-4. We'll be back from LakePoint Sports.
Windscreen Factory, more than just windscreen. We're a full-service sports facility contractor. We manufacture windscreen for sports and construction, do fence repair and installation, and fabricate field netting and batting cages. In addition to manufacturing the products, we also install upon request. We make safety padding for backstops, rails, and walls, as well as full-service print shop with logo, branding, and signage capabilities. Please call us for a quote today.
Super Select, our game of the day, Canes Lakeside against West Georgia Bombers. This part of the Windscreen Factory Spring Flex weekend, jam-packed weekend all across campus, seeing the great work of Maddie Bullock now as we watch some highlights from this one. Right now we've got a 5-4 lead for West Georgia Bombers as we onto the 6th inning of play. Time is a factor. We got about 20 minutes of game time remaining. Just some great work here. Off the camera job there from Maddie Bullock again. We're back in. Oh, there's the crane. That thing's just become everywhere,
it
right?
Is, yeah. You can't miss it. That's for sure. Unless your team doesn't have any extra base hits.
Well, that's true. 5-4 lead again for West Georgia Bombers over Canes Lakeside. In this inning, we're going to see Keaton Rice, who's already 2 for 2, start things off for West Georgia Bombers. He's also got 2 RBI to his day, and then he'll be followed by Evan Templeton and Braylon Harmon.
And we're going to keep things rolling for Tyler Lowe on the mound.
We've yet to see a pitching change in this game.
Very surprising heading into the 6th inning in a game where there's 9 combined runs between the two sides, not to see a pitching change.
And we've seen 140 pitches between 2 pitchers and no pitching change.
Yeah, you got to give a lot of credit to Lowe. I mean, back-to-back innings, 11 pitches, and then I believe it was 8.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it, and I think the 3rd inning that he was sitting around 50 pitches, and it was
that 50th pitch was the double play.
Yeah, and you started to wonder, okay, how much longer is he going to be able to keep this thing going? But he has absolutely zeroed in and done a great job for Canes Lakeside on the mound as this game has wore on.
Missed a little bit low there.
He has thus far allowed 5 hits, 5 runs are all earned. 4 walks, 1 strikeout, but he's done a lot to help his team make some plays defensively behind him, and that's in for a strike.
And the sun is pretty well fully out. Not a lot of clouds out in the sky now.
Yeah, we have had rare days like that thus far here this spring at LakePoint Sports.
Started feeling my left leg frying in the sunlight.
2-1 count here now to Keaton Rice. Bowden 2029, 7th prep baseball event for him. The 2-1 misses outside. Not familiar with Bowden. 3-1. Oh, goes outside to poke that one, gets past Leonardi, and he's got a 3rd hit. Keaton Rice absolutely having himself a day now, 3 for 3 with 2 RBI. Forget Bowden, it's bow down. That's what Keaton Rice is saying. Bow down. He's got 3 hits and 3 trips to the plate. It's going to bring up Evan Templeton. Pitch count now 74 here for Tyler Lowe as he's got Templeton, who's 0 for 1. Swings through the first pitch, off speed. Oh, you're getting the intel for us on Bowden High School.
Not much to know, but 3 notable alumni.
All right.
Nick Jones, former NFL player and coach. He's the assistant offensive line coach for the Falcons.
Okay.
Played center for Georgia. C.J. Brewer played for the Buccaneers, defensive end. Played at Coastal Carolina. And then Mike Duggan, who's a politician in the Georgia State Senate.
Ooh, 2-1 misses high.
And that's out there in Carroll County. So, like, as their name would tell you, West Georgia.
I feel like a lot of people think anything outside of Atlanta to the east of Atlanta is West Georgia.
Depends on who you talk to. I think and I don't know why, but anything that's West Georgia is like, it almost has to be like, what interstate is that goes towards
20?
Yeah, 20. It's got to be off 20. I don't know why, but everything else feels like it could just be north or south.
Once you get
but
past,
if it's off 20, it's west.
Once you get past Six Flags, sometimes it goes to West Georgia. Yeah. Count now full here to Templeton. Made that trip on 20, though, many times on the way to Alabama and Talladega.
My most recent trip that way was to Oxford. Went and saw the Egg Bowl.
There you go. Counts full, swings through that. Templeton goes down on strikes. Second strikeout for Lowe. They've both come in his last 2 innings. He's now thrown 80 pitches, and he's got Braylon Harmon stepping in with 1 down. KJ Nelson to follow. Harmon's 0 for 2.
Bit of an awkward swing.
Sure was.
Get contact
That
on.
was a Ozuna-esque.
Fun fact about Bowden. 3 consecutive state championships in football, 2022, 2023, and 2024.
Wow.
Everybody just thought Carrollton was the only West Georgia football powerhouse.
Named after Bobby. No?
I don't think so.
Okay, no. Right.
I don't have the info.
Okay.
They are the Red Devils.
All right.
And their rival is Bremen, who I believe was here for Georgia Dugout
Sure were,
Club.
yeah. That's a long trip.
I think there's shortcuts. Ooh.
Oh, skies that one down the right side. Everybody's on the run, and that one is going to go foul. That could have been all kinds of trouble if it had fallen down for Braylon Harmon, but his AB will continue.
We talked about how West Georgia Bombers might be regretting the black jerseys, but our umpire behind the plate and the windbreaker has got to be sweating, especially with the gear on, too. If anybody was wondering why these guys deserve that 20, 30-minute break between games, that is why. It is hot in that gear for sure.
Well, and that's why the AC is pumping in the umpire shack that's located behind our studio. Harmon Temple High School 2029's got a 1-2 count. He's loving that location inside on him, making Harmon get defensive. He tries to stay alive in this count.
If you're low, put something high and outside. See if he'll bite on it. Or see if he'll leave it and catch the strike zone.
Like a hermit, he keeps living inside, and that one's going to miss to make it 2-2.
That was a good one.
Yeah, there you go.
I liked that one. Let's see if Lowe's still got something here. 2 strikes, 1 out here.
Oh, it goes across the plate.
Oh, man.
I'm really not sure how he didn't get that. I think Tyler Lowe is
had it.
Absolutely stunned.
I mean, that was certainly the game plan. If you've been seeing how this at-bat goes, he's swinging at everything on the inside, changes.
Maybe the umpire was surprised, too.
Could be.
He's like, I thought we were going in this side of the plate. I didn't anticipate we'd be looming towards my left. But another 3-2. Skies that one foul.
Is it going to get out of play? Does get out of play.
The bright red hair once again there from Trey Wilson III.
Yeah. I don't know if our cameras are really helping our guy out, but he does have some red hair.
I'm almost hoping Trey Wilson can get player of the game so I can ask him about this. The red on red. Another 3-2. Swings through that one, the throwdown, and they've got themselves a strike them out, throw them out, double play. Man, the great defensive work continues for Canes Lakeside, but they trail 5-4. You're watching the Southeast Super Select. I'll get that one right. Part of the Windscreen Factory Spring Flex. Will be back from LakePoint Sports.
The Windscreen Factory, more than just windscreen. We're a full-service sports facility contractor. We manufacture windscreen for sports and construction, do fence repair and installation, and fabricate field netting and batting cages. In addition to manufacturing the products, we also install upon request. We make safety padding for backstops, rails, and walls, as well as full-service print shop with logo, branding, and signage capabilities. Please call us for a quote today.
Welcome back to LakePoint Sports. Cory, McCartney, Grayson, Rosen with you. The smell of onion rings is somehow wafted into our studio. I know there's a food truck here as part of the Windscreen Factory Spring Flex Champions Weekend. What's the name of that food truck?
I think it's Hannah Brothers.
Hannah Brothers, okay.
This is what I saw on the front side.
It smells fantastic. So if you're able to make it out here, again, this is a absolutely loaded weekend here across campus. Select events, got the live at LakePoint Sports at the Champion Center. We were sent some information from their PR people earlier this week about the number of highly ranked basketball players that are there throughout the weekend. So you have a number of them that are ranked by ESPN's recruiting service, including the class of 2026, Trinity Jones, the number 7 player in the class of 2026 from Mac Irvin Fire. So number 2 player in the class of 2027 in Ivana Wilson from Maniaca, West Virginia Thunder. So if you like women's hoops, and certainly it's a huge draw right now, as we're seeing with the WNBA off to one of its hottest starts ever. Just getting tipped off in the last couple days here. So lots going on here. Besides that, you got NASA Top Hat, Adidas Select Cup Soccer, SRVA Championships at the Baseball Village. Of course, our action here at the Baseball Village with the Southeast Super Select. A lot to see all weekend long here across campus. Canes Lakeside leading off with Chase Reese, then Trey Wilson the third, Ty Dunlap. Got about 8-9 minutes of game time left as Reese sends that one foul.
Yeah, this very well could be the last chance for Canes Lakeside to make something happen here. Bottom of the 6th, down 1 run.
So this is your weird dilemma if you're West Georgia Bombers, right? You don't want to play another inning.
No.
You certainly don't want Canes Lakeside to either force that inning or tie you, but you don't want to go quick enough that you guarantee that you have to play another inning.
Yeah, that's a close one. Let's see what the call is.
Strike makes it 1-2.
Yeah, so they say he does go.
So if I'm Ronnie Artola, I'm taking my time between pitches.
Yeah,
and I'm,
maybe do that
milking
long
the
leg
clock.
kick every time.
That's right. He's got a 1-2 count here to Reese. Misses on that curveball. Reese 0 for 2 on the day, now faces a 2-2 count here to start off the 6th.
Yeah, Artola's got to take his time going back to the mound, settle in for a moment.
Because then if you play another inning, Artola 87 pitches now almost guarantees you're going to have to end up going to the bullpen. So West Georgia Bombers try to milk this in every way, shape, or form to get themselves out of here with a win.
I think if you're West Georgia Bombers as well, and if you're Artola's shoulder and elbow, you'd like to be done before 100 pitches.
Yeah, 88 to this point. He's got a full count now to Reese. Payoff pitch. Whew, man, that was absolutely nasty. Another strikeout for Artola. Make that 6 on the day.
Yeah, Artola has just done such a good job in all, now into his 6th inning. In every inning of work, finding his location and switching up the location on a pitcher. He's not sticking the fastball in the same spot over and over again. He's putting it all over the plate in all sorts of spots, and he can just hit them at will.
I think you got to tip your cap to both of these coaches, too, by sticking with these.
Yeah.
Both of these guys have run into problems. They've both had innings where it would be understandable if they had gone out and made a pitching change. But both Tyler Lowe and Ronnie Artola have had the opportunity thus far to go the distance. And despite the fact that they have combined for 14 hits, in 9 runs. They have both pitched extremely well today.
Yeah, and they're both doing it in very different ways. We talked about it with Lowe. He's now at 2 strikeouts, but I think he went through 4 innings of work without a strikeout.
Yeah.
And he was letting the defense make plays. We're going to probably be talking about a couple of those defensive plays when we're talking about our moment that mattered at the end of this. But and then for Artola, he's been obviously getting the strikeouts. He's got 6 strikeouts through 5.1. Here's a grounder.
First base has it, throws to Artola on the run, taps the bag, and that's out number 2.
We've seen him generate a lot of pop-ups, and that's been a big thing that's gotten them outs. And obviously they've had their fair share of groundouts as well. But he's really been giving up fly balls, and obviously, at this age level, it's pretty hard to give up fly balls that leave the yard. So it's worked out in their favor. And both pitchers, you definitely tip your cap to them for how well they've done. And just for a young pitcher to get through, 6 innings of work from Tyler Lowe and now 5.2 so far from Artola, it's impressive.
So 2 down for Ty Dunlap, who is 2 for 2. I'm looking at about 5 minutes left on the clock.
Ooh.
We're getting dicey here. First pitch put in play. First base camps underneath it, has the out. Artola points to the sky, and it's going to bring it into the inning. See if we're going to be done or if this game is going to roll along.
I think we're going to the 7th. Yes, we are.
We are getting another inning. We'll be back. You're watching Southeast Super Select from LakePoint Sports.
First one I picked up, I just liked it the best. And like I said, I tried a lot of different companies, a lot of different models, and I fell in love with Old Hickory for sure.
Hot summer days call for cool adventures in Cartersville, Museum City. Beat the heat indoors with jaw-dropping exhibits at TELUS Science Museum and the Savoy Automobile Museum. Hit the water at Terminus Wake Park, kayak the Etowah River, or head to Lake Allatoona for fishing, boating, and unbeatable lake days. When the sun sets, head downtown for live music, delicious eats, and local flavors. From family fun to date nights, summer memories start here. Plan your trip today at CartersvilleMuseumCity.com.
Welcome back to LakePoint Sports. Marching on to the 7th inning. How rarely do we get to say that on one of these games, but that's exactly what we've got in motion here. We've got a pitching change for Canes Lakeside as Tyler Lowe's day comes to an end here in the 7th inning. They will now turn things over to C.J. Romanowski. Romanowski started off the game at third base, Hillgrove 2029. Got a fastball around 71, curveball around 60 to 62, playing in his 14th prep baseball event. So we'll see what he has in store here if they try to limit any more damage by West Georgia Bombers. Canes Lakeside, see if they can walk it off in the bottom of the 7th inning. He'll be facing off against KJ Nelson, Jackson Watkins, and Brantley Carnes.
Yeah, West Georgia Bombers kind of probably hoped that they would have run out the clock in the last inning, but they didn't, and now you kind of give yourselves another chance to lengthen the lead, but you also gave Canes Lakeside another chance here in the bottom of the 7th. So if you're West Georgia Bombers, you'd love to jump on them early and score some runs.
When Nelson steps to the plate, there will be about 2 minutes of game time left. That's how close we got to this thing coming into an end in the 6th inning. But Ronnie Artola worked his magic in that bottom of the 6th and kept Canes Lakeside from putting any traffic on the base pass. And unfortunately for West Georgia Bombers, that means you have to play another inning. Nelson 1 for 2 is going to step in. Umpire earned those stretches back there.
No, you're good. Had a rock come flying into the studio.
There you go. Never know what's going to happen. It's between the bugs and the
rocks.
Yeah, the rocks and the wafting smells that we get from the food being prepared here in the crossroads of the baseball village. You never know what we're going to be in store here during one of our telecasts. Count 1-0. Nelson sends that one into left field, and that's going to be caught for an out. Into the glove of Grant Plunkett in left for out number 1.
See if the rest of the bottom of the order here for West Georgia Bombers can make something happen.
Villa Rica 2029, Jackson Watkins steps in. 5th prep baseball event for him. Romanowski, a looping strike. A lot of movement on that pitch.
It's kind of got a like an old time, just kind of slow pitch feel.
It's the 0-1. Well, he's got a curveball and drops that in for a strike.
I feel like maybe he's been watching film on 70s baseball, maybe.
Well, I tell you what, the release though from that curveball and the change and the curveball and the fastball looked exactly the same.
Yeah.
Got to be awfully hard to pick up on it. They both kind of loop in, and then that curveball, obviously, a little more drop to it, but it's got to be hard for batter to pick up on as we now see a 1-2 count here to Watkins. Goes back to that curveball, sends that one foul.
He's certainly getting a lot of movement on both the breaking ball and just on the fastball. It makes it real tough for these West Georgia Bombers hitters, especially the righties, when that fastball comes in on the hands and then the curveball is way out into the lefty batter's box by the time you're going to put a swing on it. Ooh,
Oh, man, he got him. What a curveball from the hands of C.J. Romanowski for out number 2. Whew.
And that's the other thing is with that kind of arm angle on the curveball, it's pretty much all vertical movement, and it's just going to kind of fall out of nowhere. And fortunately for West Georgia Bombers, they are victim to it.
Bit of a whipping motion, I think, would almost be the best way to describe it for that release. Brantley Carnes, a second baseman. Carnes 1 for 2. We saw 3 runs in the bottom of the first inning from Canes Lakeside. West Georgia Bombers responded with 4 of their own in the third. 1 run apiece in the fourth has gotten us to this 5-4 game. So we've seen to this point in our third inning of action without a run scored. Carnes drops that into center field, and that'll be a 2-out single for West Georgia Bombers. Bring up Aaron Mims. Mims 0 for 2. Drew something in our Geosurfaces turf.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell because it doesn't show up. But it's more for him.
Yeah, it's just all repetition. Superstition.
Just missed outside. Maybe it was low. It was real close on one side.
Nonetheless, the count is 1-0 here to Mims. Again, 0 for 2. His West Georgia Bombers have 7 hits today. Woo. There it is.
You even saw him kind of trying to duck out of the way, and it's over the middle of the plate.
I'd love to know what that vantage point is like for those batters, because this certainly looks like it's coming in on them. Count is 1-1 here to Mims. Sends that one in play, drops down, slow roller to the third baseman. No one's got a play on that, so we'll have runners at first and second as Mims has himself an infield single, and he's now 1 for 3.
Yeah, a little bit of a swinging bunt right there, but it certainly worked out for you.
Also 1 for 3 is Ronnie Artola. Steps to the plate now. He has pitched the entirety of this game for West Georgia Bombers. See if that continues as we get to the bottom of the 7th inning. Canes Lakeside will have a chance to try to walk this off. See if West Georgia Bombers can give them a bigger deficit to face. Currently 1 run, as we said, here in the 7th. 8 hits apiece now. Artola sends that foul. Count 1-1.
Looks like that one maybe took a detour off the catcher's helmet of Trey Wilson.
Be really interested to see what West Georgia Bombers do on the mound here in the bottom of the 7th. The 1-1 misses inside.
West Georgia Bombers really would love to put up a run here. Make things just a little bit tougher because keep in mind, if they do tie it up and they get to the 3 outs in the bottom of the 7th, that is it. It will go in the books as a tie.
Artola rips that elevated fastball. Leonardi has it, throws to first to bring it into the inning. They'll strand 2 runners. West Georgia Bombers clinging to a 5-4 lead. See if Canes Lakeside can answer or potentially even walk it off when we come back from LakePoint Sports.
The Windscreen Factory, more than just windscreen. We're a full-service sports facility contractor. We manufacture windscreen for sports and construction, do fence repair and installation, and fabricate field netting and batting cages. In addition to manufacturing the products, we also install upon request. We make safety padding for backstops, rails, and walls, as well as full-service print shop with logo, branding, and signage capabilities. Please call us for a quote today.
It all comes down to this 5-4 lead for West Georgia Bombers over Canes Lakeside. Ronnie Artola is back out there after 93 pitches. He's going out for the 7th inning to try to slam the door and get West Georgia Bombers this pool play win here. Southeast Super Select action. Cory, McCartney, Grayson, Rosen with you. And man, be honest, I'm a little surprised to see Artola out there.
I'm very surprised to see him come back out, but when you keep in mind that they've got to play another game after this, maybe it starts to make a little bit more sense. Okay, you got to kind of push the limits here today and get things done.
Well, look, you got to get a pitcher ready, right?
Yeah.
For the next game. Do you potentially go with whoever would start that?
Sorry, they already played a
for
game
you?
this morning.
Okay, there you go. They played at 8 a.m.
But they're going to play again tomorrow.
Okay, well, that doesn't matter then. You're taking away my mind flex that I was going to spring flex. We're going to have this nuanced conversation about philosophically how you handle it when you've got a game after this, and you potentially could move your starter in for the next game and getting them a little bit more action. But that's called a buzzkill.
Yeah, I think your approach now, considering you're probably going to play tomorrow instead, is that you let Artola go, see what he can do. If anything gets hairy, you pull him out, and hopefully the guy that you bring in gets a couple quick outs, and he doesn't go up too many pitches, and then he can just pitch tomorrow if you need him.
Yeah, I would imagine the leash would be somewhat short at this point. I mean, maybe if he allows the tying run to get into scoring position, maybe that is the end of the day. But right now he's got a 2-1 count as he pumps that in for a strike here to Tyler Lowe. Parker Perrin and C.J. Romanowski to follow for Canes Lakeside as they try to get themselves either a tie or a walk-off win.
Just a little bit low there on the fastball, make it 3-1. Talked about that downtick in velo. He's sitting around 75, 74 now, but going into your 7th inning of work, I feel like that drop-off is well warranted.
Canes Lakeside need a win in the worst way. They lost this morning 7-4 to East Cobb Mariners. That one goes back foul. You mentioned West Georgia Bombers having already played. They lost 7-0 to East Cobb Mariners. So both these teams need a win badly to extend their chances for bracket play on Sunday.
I think those actually might be...
They're flipped? Are they flipped?
I think they're flipped.
Okay, well...
So, yeah, West Georgia Bombers won 7-0. Canes Lakeside won 7-4.
Right, well,
so both of them would really like a win.
Artola gets a strikeout to start off the inning. So pitch aware had the scores flipped.
Yeah.
I'm not dyslexic. They were flipped.
I can confirm.
One down here as we'll now see Parker Perrin.
Good work fighting back there from Artola. Now closing in on 100 pitches. This next pitch will be number 100.
That was 7th strikeout for him today, so he's got 8 hits allowed, 4 runs, all earned, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts. Perrin is 0 for 2 as he steps in. What was that hand signal there at shortstop from Xavier Hernandez?
Not sure. They pulled him in for the pitcher meeting with the catcher and trying to do something here.
1-0 count now to Perrin. Mount Perrin, 2028. He's got it. So swings through that one. Count 1-1. He goes to Mount Perrin, P-A-R-A-N, and his last name is spelled P-E-R-R-E-N.
Okay. And that couldn't get more confusing.
No. Comes a 1-1 from Artola. Swings through it, make it 1-2.
Artola seeking that 8th strikeout of the day.
Yeah, this just turning into a warrior performance out of Ronnie Artola. I mean, rarity for us that have a game go 7 innings, let alone have the same pitcher pitch every pitch for our team. And he is trending toward that now as we have 1 out here in the 7th.
Yeah, you wouldn't typically see him run the pitch count over 100.
Yeah, 103 now.
Yeah, next pitch right here on 2-2 will be 104. See if he can get the strikeout he is seeking.
He's got some velo in his bag, 77 as he gets another strikeout, make it 8 now for Artola.
Yeah, 77 on pitch 104 in the heat, too. I mean, he's got to be pretty sweaty out there in the all-black uniforms and his 7th inning of work out there on the mound, just honestly under the spotlight with that sun beaming down. No clouds in the sky right now over pretty well anybody here. So
he's also gone 1 for 4 at the plate with a run scored as well, so he's done it all to this point for West Georgia Bombers to put them in position to win this game. C.J. Romanowski skies this one. Who's got it? Oh, nearly have a collision. Second baseman brings an end to it. West Georgia Bombers hold on. They are 5-4 winners. We'll be back with plenty more as we talk the Aspen Hospitality moment that mattered and player of the game when we come back from LakePoint Sports.
Windscreen Factory, more than just windscreen. We're a full-service sports facility contractor. We manufacture windscreen for sports and construction, do fence repair and installation, and fabricate field netting and batting cages. In addition to manufacturing the products, we also install upon request. We make safety padding for backstops, rails, and walls, as well as full-service print shop with logo, branding, and signage capabilities. Please call us for a quote today.
First one I picked up, I just liked it the best. And like I said, I tried a lot of different companies, a lot of different models, and I fell in love with Old Hickory for sure.
Windscreen Factory, more than just windscreen. We're a full-service sports facility contractor. We manufacture windscreen for sports and construction, do fence repair and installation, and fabricate field netting and batting cages. In addition to manufacturing the products, we also install upon request. We make safety padding for backstops, rails, and walls, as well as full-service print shop with logo, branding, and signage capabilities. Please call us for a quote today.
We're here at LakePoint Sports, the site of the first curve test center. There will be lots of curve test centers, but this will always be the first. And why are we here? Here for a couple of reasons. One is if you think about the effort players are spending trying to get coaches to notice them, the effort coaches are spending trying to figure out who's actually any good, the poor parents who are sitting there saying, where's my kid headed? This is the answer for all that.
Everyone wants to be seen, right? Sometimes what can be seen is data. So it's hard to get in front of coaches at all these programs at once, or even the school you really want to go to. So using data helps us a ton. And as long as it's reliable and there's something that can give us better information with the small sample size is what we're looking for.
Hot summer days call for cool adventures in Cartersville, Museum City. Beat the heat indoors with jaw-dropping exhibits at TELUS Science Museum and the Savoy Automobile Museum. Hit the water at Terminus Wake Park, kayak the Etowah River, or head to Lake Allatoona for fishing, boating, and unbeatable lake days. When the sun sets, head downtown for live music, delicious eats, and local flavors. From family fun to date nights, summer memories start here. Plan your trip today at CartersvilleMuseumCity.com.
Welcome back to LakePoint Sports. Cory, McCartney, Grayson, Rosen with you. We just wrapped up a West Georgia Bombers 5-4 win over Canes Lakeside in our game of the day from the Southeast Super Select, of course, part of the Windscreen Factory Spring Flex Champions Weekend. And Grayson, again, 5-4 win for West Georgia Bombers. Canes Lakeside jumped out to an early lead, 3-0. Looked like things may be teetering towards Canes Lakeside running away with this. Ronnie Artola just was absolute lockdown money on the mound, and that was a big reason why West Georgia Bombers walked away with a victory.
Yeah, after giving up those 3 early runs, you start to question, okay, should the guy stay in the game? Can he keep going? Or maybe his day gets cut short a little bit early because he ran up the pitch count. But Ronnie Artola just kept going. He was lights out after that first inning, only gave up 1 more run in the game. The velo was still up to 77 on his 104th pitch of the day. Finishes the game for him, 8 strikeouts, didn't surrender the 4 earned runs. It was a fantastic performance, and it was just so big for that team to have that pitching on the mound.
He goes 105 pitches, 8 strikeouts, 4 runs, 2 walks as West Georgia Bombers get out of here with a 5-4 pool play victory. Let's go into our Moments That Mattered by Aspen Hospitality Group. Run through 3 plays that helped define this one. The first, a 2-run triple in the bottom of the first inning from East Paulding 2029. Trey Wilson III, he of the red helmet behind the plate and bright red mane, gets himself a triple. Can deliver the first runs of this game. Of course, got to hit the crane these days. Next up for us is Keaton Rice coming through with a 2-run double that went down the line. Rips that one in for 1 run. Here comes the second. Keaton Rice coming through 3 for 3 on the day as he roped that into left field. Our third entry, the double play variety. We saw some great glove work. Parker Leonardi goes to Trip Strickland.
I think we might have had the wrong play in there
hit a
for
wrong
him,
play.
but it was a double play from it was
Parker Leonardi to Tripp Strickland to Parker Perrin.
4-6-3.
So we messed that up here on our broadcast, so great work there for us. But you'll have your say. We'll have the real version of that out across our social media channels, so you'll be able to make your vote and pick on what you think was the Aspen Hospitality moment that mattered. But let's talk player of the game. We saw Keaton Rice there deliver that moment. 3 for 3 on the day, that 2-run double, and of course that made our Aspen Hospitality moment that mattered. Keaton Rice, to me, ends up a big reason why West Georgia Bombers get out here with a win, and he is player of the game.
Yeah, he came up absolutely huge and then keeps it rolling. Not just did he have the big moment, he also goes 3 for 3 in the game, doing everything he could to help his team out, but giving them the lead in the third. They end up holding on to it. They win with that lead, but going 3 for 3 on top of it, it is an undeniably great performance for Keaton Rice.
And he was backed by some fantastic work again on the mound from Monty Artola as West Georgia Bombers get out here with a 5-4 win. You'll be able to find our interview with Keaton across all of our social media channels, so make sure you're following Lake Point Sports everywhere, as you'll see that interview a little bit later today. We will be back next Saturday with coverage of the state games of Georgia, the first event of the season, Grayson, where we'll welcome back the 15 to 17U divisions. 132 teams will descend upon the baseball village, so you will not want to miss that one. Make sure you're, again, following all the Lake Point Sports social media channels. We'll have tune information for you on those. You'll, of course, be able to find our broadcast for free on Facebook, X, and YouTube. So until next time, for Grayson, Rosen, Jack McCartney, producers, Maddie Bullock, and Mason Monroe, I'm Cory McCartney, and we are signing off. Excuse me. It's been a long day. We're signing off from Lake Point Sports.